All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you remember last week, I burned through an entire collection of credits with using Antigravity with Google. And this week, I've been trying to consolidate a database because I have 3 different apps that were built in 3 different ways, and they are either using Railway or using Supabase to actually collect users' info. And I needed to be able to consolidate that all together. And this is the story about how I made that happen. And if you're new here, my name's Ian Ryan Kirk, and I'm AKA Captain AI. We're on this venture together, a new frontier for me and for a lot of the viewers. I try to break down AI as simply as possible so that you can actually apply it in your own workflows and in your own life to make sure that it actually 10x's your results instead of you feeling overwhelmed like most of the gurus out there will make you feel. So if you remember from the last video, or if you didn't get a chance to watch it, essentially I'd been using Cursor for months, interacting back and forth with Claude Code. And then I discovered Google's Antigravity and absolutely fell in love with it. The biggest reason is it actually keeps your chat discussions either with Claude Code or with the Google agents in a chat window so that if you close everything out, you can come back and actually see where you were. So let's start this video by just simply explaining that Supabase is a place where you can actually collect users' information. And if you're using apps to essentially be your lead magnets, when people give you their information, you're going to want to collect that in a database. And I needed to consolidate all of these apps to use the same exact database because I wanted to remain on a free plan. And I didn't necessarily need a bunch of different databases out there since I was just collecting information like an email, name, and maybe some other form of their contact info. So in this video, I'm just going to simply show you how I found the plugin to be able to give either Claude Code or Antigravity access to my Supabase so I could make sure everything was set up correctly so that I could integrate each one of these apps into the same database so that I'd have all of the user's info in one spot. So the first thing is we're just going to get the plugin from a Claude Code window. So what we would do is just simply type / and type in plugin, and you'll see a little button that pops up here that says manage plugins. Once that comes up, you won't have any of these downloaded, but I have this one right here, which is the Supabase Claude official plugin. And you would just download it in. And now the trick is going to be how to actually get it authorized to be able to use on your system. So we'll close out of this. And then I'm going to come over here into Google's agent, and I'm going to leave Claude Code alone for a second. And I'm just going to ask it, I'd like you to configure the MCP plugin that I have downloaded into the plugins. Can you help me with that? All right, so we're going to go ahead and ask Google's agent to help us out here. It's asking for access to the .ev file, and it needs access to that, so allow that for this conversation. All right, so we're just going to check with the Google agent here if this project is now configured with the Supabase MCP. If not, let's configure it to make sure we are using the right base project. So we're going to allow that configuration. And now you can see the Google agent will actually start running Claude Code inside another window. It won't run it actually in this window right here, but you can see it when it actually opens up a Claude Code window. All right. So right here, it's saying that it analyzed package. Currently, you have a Supabase MCP server in your configuration, but the status needs authorization in general. For me to use it effectively, the browsing database schema running, I have to set up a specific project MCP server. Okay, current setup, MCP status. I can run the following: database management. Yes, we want to use the master. I have to look and see what it is. So we're just going to copy the project ID just so that it has the right database and that it's talking about the thing that we actually want it to access. So one of the things that I was having like a ton of trouble with Claude Code over here was that Claude Code kept running in these loops where it kept finding certain things that it had connected it with MCPs, but it couldn't find the plugin that I had downloaded essentially using that technique that I just showed you. So what I did is I started using Gemini over here to fix the problem because Claude Code just kept running in loops. So over here, I'm just going to type in real quick, essentially, make sure that the plugin is active and verify that the Supabase, database is configured correctly. The master lead magnet database is configured correctly to accept user info from multiple different lead magnets. So you can see this Google agent is now going to examine the Supabase configuration and let me know if it's configured correctly for having multiple lead magnets access the same database. So it's saying right here, the schema looks correct and solid. It has the right different tables. It has a lead magnet source in that schema. It's saying right here that the MCP has the Anthropic Claude tool plugin integration. So it appears that this agent now has verified that the database has the correct schema. It's all ready. So essentially, we're just the user's MCP plugin request likely refers to this configuration, and I can update the file. So let's go ahead and allow it to run. So I'm just doing a confirmation right here. I just want to make sure that this project that we're working on right here is going to use the specific Supabase database that we configured earlier, that it's now checked to make sure that its schema is correctly and can handle all of the user contact information from various different apps and websites. And what's kind of cool is you could also run the Claude agent on a separate task while Google's working on something over here in Antigravity. So I just may ask Claude Code over here without screwing anything up. So I'm just going to ask Claude to actually verify its plugin for the MCP access to the Supabase database. And you can see the agent go ahead and actually lays out right here exactly what that schema is and gives me an example of what it actually looks like. So I'll just hit accept all. So what this Google agent has actually done is it's analyzed my website where I do have a newsletter. It's called the Captain's Log. And it also has a wait list. And then what it's actually done here is given me an example of how that schema in Supabase is going to look. It's telling me it's going to keep track of where the actual lead came from. Was it somebody coming in through like the book that I'm writing, which is called Raised by Two Teachers, and I still don't know shit. So that book, if somebody clicks on the wait list for it inside this schema, it's going to tell me that that was the portion of the website that somebody actually put in their contact info to get on the wait list to be notified about when that's actually coming out. If they're just a contact newsletter, it'll tell me that. And if they came in through another source, it'll categorize each one of them. So I'll know exactly which parts of the website are actually getting more people to actually give me their contact info. Okay, and then as something that I always do, I always ask any agent that I'm working with, is there anything else you can think of that we need to do to make sure that this website project is collecting user info and organizing it so that we know what is getting users to actually give us their information? Because I just want to get feedback from what it's seeing, how the website is built, and how the Supabase database is constructed, and if it could make any improvements. So one of the things that it's actually recommending is like referring traffic tracking. Essentially, it's saying like, oh, did these people come from Google or did it come from Facebook? And inside there, like I've already put, it's like a promo code. So like if somebody refers somebody to something and gives them like a referral code, I'll be able to credit that to a specific like outside affiliate, so to speak. But I don't have a lot of traffic coming from, you know, automatic click throughs and stuff like that I'd want to have a refer tracking system on it. But it did come up with the idea. So it did come up with a lot of kind of good ideas as far as like tracking like where things come from, like TikTok or YouTube or that sort of thing. I'm probably not going to implement any of these things. I'm just going to tell it like, can we keep these in our minds for later on when more traffic is being generated? And for right now, can we just keep it super simple and get it launched? Okay, so basically what I'm telling it right here is that these are all great ideas. Can we just keep those in our minds for the future? Right now, all we're doing is making videos like you guys are watching with a link in the description where they can actually come to my website and then choose which one of the lead magnets they actually like and want to try out. And then from there, all we're doing is collecting that user information based on the one that got them to actually want to use it. Understood. So we're going to keep it simple, attribution to lead magnets only. So it totally understands what I want to do. Which promo code source, promo code source, which lead magnet. Yep. Which promo code. Promo code is basically in the schema. That is essentially like a affiliate, essentially. So I'll have to tell it that. All forms are connected. So this website actually has multiple different places where someone could actually be entering a form. Everything from, you know, the Captain's Log newsletter to any of these, like when they click through to a lead magnet to the book launch. So I want to keep track of like what's interesting people and what's making them actually sign up for staying in contact with me. So I'm just clarifying right here that that promo code is essentially a column for specific text that I give to an affiliate referral influencer that the user would have. And essentially what that's for is if somebody actually ends up really loving one of the lead magnets and they want to pay for that lead magnet, of course, with an affiliate, if somebody sent them to me, I want to give that person part of whatever the person is actually spending on my website back to them. So that's, I just want to confirm that it understands that that's what that column's for. And look at that. That makes perfect sense. You got to love it when AI thinks you're smart. My question. So here it's asking me a question. Do you want a visible input field? Oh, look at that. So what it's asking me for right now is if somebody comes into my website with a reference code, it will automatically track that and put it into everything behind the scenes. Or I can actually have it as a promo code that they actually have to type in. And I think I'd just rather it be behind the scenes and not require the user to ever type anything in. So let's just make sure that we verify that. I actually really like that idea. So I'm just going to type, I want it to be frictionless. Can you give me all of how this will capture lead info in Supabase? Okay, so maybe I've shown you this, but maybe I haven't. I'm actually working in a bunch of different windows all at the same time. And what I've done is I'm configuring my main website to use this main place, the Supabase database, to actually collect information. But then if somebody clicked through into one of the apps and they're like, they do the free trial or something on one of the apps, are like, oh my God, I love the way this DM, you know, I love the way the DM copywriter rewrites my DMs. I've gone through all of the free trial stuff and I want to buy more credits. And they actually end up purchasing. Well, that's when it's going to collect their data from there. And so I need that app and that website to actually use the same Supabase database again. So we're collecting all the data in one spot. So these are two different windows, and I'm just going to basically give the same command. Can you give me an example of how this will capture lead info in Supabase? So I'll do that for the main website, and then I'm going to jump over here to another screen, and I'm going to do it inside of this one, which is my call reflex coach, which takes transcripts from people's sales calls, analyzes them, and gives them feedback on it. So this one didn't give me an example, so I'm just going to ask it for an example in the chat window. This one did give me the example, so we'll go back over to that one. So here we go. So this is the example of what it's going to look like inside of the Supabase schema. And then if I come over here to another screen, essentially it's telling me like the same thing. We're going to collect their names, their email, their, whether or not they're a business owner, what their bottleneck actually is. This is off of my particular website for like the main page. And then what it's collecting, let's say if we come over here to the call clarity coach or the objection card app, it's essentially going to show us as a lead magnet source and then also collect each one of those categories as well. So we can keep everything in one spot. And then that way it stays super organized and we don't have to worry about paying Supabase for multiple different projects. All right, so each one of these lead magnets is now being connected to that Supabase database so that we're collecting everyone's data information in one spot. And we don't have to pay Supabase for multiple different projects. Now, if any of these sound interesting to you, whether it's getting your calls reviewed, learning how to send better DMs, or working on objections with flashcards digitally, you can come to iankirk.com and play around with them for free. And of course, if you really love them, just because of all the API calls and stuff like that, some of them do turn into paid services. And if you want to support the channel that way, all of your support is more than appreciated. I thank you guys all for watching. And as you can tell, I'm along on this adventure with you. I'm going to mess up things, hopefully, so you don't have to. So I highly recommend you click the subscribe button, maybe even hit the notification bell. You can even comment below and let me know some of the things you're struggling with, and I could maybe make a video about that as well. We're all learning this together, and it's happening so fast. I keep trying to put out a video each and every week to try to help you along in this journey. Remember, AI is a new frontier, and we don't necessarily know where it's going. We just know that we're going to probably get there a lot faster than we thought a year ago.